Welcome back to the channel. The greenhouse is warming up. We've got a little bit of sun out here. We're sitting about 55, 56 degrees outside today, and we're sitting about 75 degrees in the greenhouse as the sun was just starting to break through the clouds here. So it's starting to warm up, and I'm going to get a little work done out here. And I wanted to do a little work on our compost pile that has been established and running all summer long. It is no longer warm, but it does have a lot of material that is not fully composted. So I wanted to do some aerating of our compost system. And I have this large perforated tubing, and I've got a fan up here that I have a little solar powered 10-watt fan. And as that fan is running inside our greenhouse, we have a 30% shade cloth up, so only 70% of the light is coming through, and that is still able to pick up enough energy to run that fan and push a decent amount of air through it. So I went ahead and lit an incent, and it is definitely blowing that pretty good force on it, and that is not blowing full force. This solar panel and fan will basically be based in relation to each other. The amount of energy going into this solar panel will directly relate how fast that fan spins. So at full energy, that fan will spin as fast as it can, and vice versa. Just a little explanation of that little solar fan here. So here is my contraption here. We got a decent little sunny spell that I can get this cranking some air through. I have been using this metal tape here about 2-3 years in a row. It doesn't even have any sticky properties anymore. I just use it because it's so malleable, and you can crush it like a heavy aluminum foil basically and just kind of make a gasket on there. You can hear the fan running through there. So I'm basically going to be attaching this to this. Those click right together, so we'll be able to basically push a whole bunch of air through all of those little tubes, all of those little perforated tubes in this 12-foot pipe or so. So we'll be able to get some good oxygen flow to our compost out there. Now, before I jump outside and show a demo of what I'm going to set up to aerate my compost, I want to kind of talk about all of the things involved. Now, do you need to aerate your compost? Certainly not. Does it help? Certainly does. And the ways that it helps is it speeds up the process, and it feeds all of those microorganisms and aerobic bacteria that survive off of oxygen but also thrive and break down the compost. Aeration can be done in a few different ways. You can simply turn your bin if you have a compost bin, or you can do it the old school way where you have compost bins or just a pile on the ground and you manually throw it from one pallet to the other, or just shift the pile over to put the outside on the inside and vice versa. Now, one more way we can aerate our compost is with a DIY method and creating some type of system and something free. So this free energy is going to run off of the sun, so we're not plugging something into the wall and having to pay an electric bill in order to run and just aerate our compost and speed up the process of having finished compost, because we want to speed this compost up that's underneath our tarps out here to fill some of our beds in our greenhouse. Now, aerating your hot compost setup can really benefit you and steady your temperatures and balance those temperatures out a little bit and keep them from getting too high, or keep them from having pockets where it's going anaerobic and you're having methane build up and it can get smelly, and it does not have oxygen in there, so it doesn't break down as fast. Aerating simply speeds this whole process up, and it aids in all of the microbes, bacteria, microorganisms, and the beneficial fungi that comes along with that. So I think I talked about everything I wanted to cover here. Let's run outside and get all of this situated. It's getting to be quite windy out here, so I apologize if it's hard to hear at all, but we've got this down, and this is kind of just a generic setup for how I want this to sit. Our perforation starts right about at the beginning of the pile. I just threw some cardboard down just to soak up any extra nutrients. So I wanted to stop and pause and show everybody what I'm going to do here. So I'll be taking all of this unbroken down material, all of this woody material. We've got all types of stuff, and I'll be using all of this material that has big holes and gaps and is real porous on the bottom, so all of that oxygen will come through and lift and go right up into the pile, and thus provide oxygen to the rest that is going to break down. And as it breaks down, it will decompress, and it will all basically just compact down on top of this stuff, thus breaking that material down at the same time, as it'll have plenty of oxygen coming from the bottom. So I'm going to get this all covered up and show everybody what I mean. So we've got our tube completely covered up here. It is all the way around. This is probably about 3.5 feet in diameter. So we've got our pile allocated. We have just gotten some rain before I kind of stirred all this up, and I lost a lot of compost because I didn't really have a stopping point. All of it just kind of mended into the ground. All of the critters in here did their jobs and basically turned everything to usable nutrients. So within a day or two, this material should heat up for us. I want to show the size of it. It's actually about 3 foot tall here. It's kind of hard to see from the camera though. So I wanted to show how I put all this together. I've got this system here that I'm going to have to protect from rain, but we don't have any rain in the forecast for the next couple days, so I'm good on that. I'm going to put this in a little tiny box, and this is just a temporary system to get enough compost to fill up a couple beds in the greenhouse. I really wanted to speed this process up and get myself some good compost. I'm going to cover this with a tarp, and if you didn't have enough rain or you didn't have enough moisture in this, you would want to water this in pretty decently before you put a tarp on so you can get yourself some good temperatures, because if all of this is too dry, you will not achieve warm temperatures. It needs moisture, needs oxygen to provide those temperatures that break down the material and create the environment where all those microorganisms and bacteria break down all of your organic matter to usable nutrients. So I threw a tarp on my pile to cover it, and the reason I cover my piles is because you don't want the sunlight getting to it and you don't want rain getting on. You want this pile to stay the same moisture content that you start with throughout the entire process. You just want it like a damp rag, as everyone says. So by putting some recycled tarps on here, I'm able to block out the sun and block out any rain from getting into my pile because the moisture content is correct right now. So I'm gonna check this in a few days here and see what the moisture content looks like after I've been pumping all of this air through it. Got some nice clover out here. I should be bringing an update within a week or two on how well this has worked for me. I may take some temperatures to see if this actually picks up some heat, but we had some pretty broken down material, so I don't know how hot this will actually get, but I bet it does pick up some heat because it got stirred up and we basically turned the outside to the inside, and all of the broken up material was put on top and on the outside to basically inoculate it and re-inoculate it. So all of those microorganisms that were already breaking the pile down are going to continue breaking all that material down now that they have excess oxygen to work with. I want to thank everybody for checking this out, and stay tuned for the update on this compost aeration.